Hello, welcome pen friends. Today I want to talk to you about a specific journal, but I also want to talk generally about this type of journal because there are many of them out there that are 5-year journals. But the one specific I want to talk about is the Happiness Project, and it's a 1-sentence journal, a 5-year record. It's a really thick journal. This is the one that I have already filled out. I did this from 2012 through 2016. And in the past, in some of my older videos, I've talked about this before, but I never did a dedicated video. So two things spurred this video. One was that I went to Half Price Books the other day and I found one. I mean, it's not written in, of course, and it was $8.49, which even saves money over the Amazon. I think the Amazon is now $15.29. You can still get these. And this is by Gretchen Rubin. She did a book called The Happiness Project, which I took out of the library and read it. And when I found out about this 5-year journal with 1 sentence, it was during a time when I was in a journaling slump. And so I thought, well, 1 sentence, anybody can do that, you know? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, her little, somewhere in the journal, or maybe even on this first page, I'm distracted. I should have looked this up before. Well, I'll just read you this. She says, why I keep a 1-sentence journal. Several years ago, I became alarmed by how little I remembered from my own past, so I looked for a realistic way to keep a colorful record of my life. Because keeping a proper journal seemed far too daunting, and that's true for a lot of us, and several of you who are at stages of your life where keeping a regular journal might be too much. Okay, I decided instead to keep a 1-sentence journal. Every night, I write just 1 sentence. And now that I've kept my journal for several years, I know that 1 sentence is indeed enough to keep memories vivid. And I thought, really? I didn't hardly believe that at the time. I thought, well, I'll try this out. She said a 1-sentence journal is very satisfying, manageable, doesn't feel like a burden, gives me a feeling of accomplishment. And she goes on. Anyway, it was sort of like a challenge. I read it as a challenge. Like, really? I mean, what could I possibly get from it? But I hope that I can convey to you what I've already gotten from this, and this would be something I would never part with unless I had to. I keep this, and I have shredded and gotten rid of a lot of journals, but not this one, and they will pry this out of my cold hands. But so this is what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to be able to tell you why. But first, let me just show you the inside of it the best I can from where I'm sitting. So what you get an entry for 1 sentence for every day of the year. So it's got 365 pages, and so it's blank. You can fill it in, you know, with the year. So that's great because it's not locked in. It's all blank for you. And you get a quote at the top of every page in this one. And there's several others. In fact, she has one exactly like this, but it's for mothers, so the quotes are different. And I've seen several different ones at Barnes & Noble that are different themes, but they're the same basic idea. You write 1 sentence. So I think that kind of shows you what the inside looks like. I've stickered mine up just a little bit, like in Halloween I put a sticker. I'm not sure how much we'll get into that one, but I do want to read a few entries for you from that. Okay, so so it is a little bit more challenging if you wanted to make one for yourself, but you can do that. It's just that you're looking at quite a few pages, so you might end up with some smaller. I was thinking about this. I was thinking anybody could do this with any notebook, yes, but most notebooks don't have 365 pages, although there are some. There probably are some Tomoe River ones that I'm not even knowledgeable about. But all you'd need to do is just divide up, you know, give yourself space for 5 different small entries, and that's pretty small. The lines are, it looks to me like they're 5 millimeter apart, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines for each, you know. So to me, I write big, but I have to write with different pens for this. And I do remember using a gel pen or a ballpoint pen or whatever I had. This was all just prior to me getting into fountain pens and bullet journaling. So Here's the deal. I'm nervous because I really want to convey this. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time since I drank my coffee too. This is just how my brain works, folks. It's not it's not funny, but it is good. So I'm not going to argue with it. I said there were 2 reasons why I got spurred to do this video. I'll try to slow my brain down just a couple notches. One was picking up another one of these and being really excited because it was much cheaper than the first one I bought. The other reason was because I was watching Alicia's video on, her channel is Adventure Denali, and many of you follow her too, like I do. And she has the Midori one. And I thought, oh, how lovely, Midori. That has beautiful paper, right? And so I had already purchased this one, so I'm all set, right? But I went looking at it, and it's, well, I saw it for $35 on Jet Pens. And I thought about the paper and the beauty of the paper, and ooh, and it looked like maybe there was a little bit more space. If I do that with like channel money or funny money, then I will give away this other one. But those were the 2 reasons that I wanted to sit down and talk to you, because I started to think about how often I go and fetch this one out of my little basket of journals. It's such a complete record, because this is how it feels. It feels as if it's like a memory chip, and I read the sentence for the day and I'm catapulted. It's like a time machine too. It makes me feel like I'm back there, and I don't understand how it works, but there's just enough association that, you know, I can be right back there. Now, there are some troubled times in there too. So there's some difficult time periods, and there's one in particular that I haven't reread a lot yet. I'm not ready, and that was the time during which my dad was in hospice. But I have reread the time during which my mother-in-law was, and it's a little bit easier with a couple more, you know, like 3 more years distance between, because she did pass away in 2012. And so like I had listed the visitors, or I said how many visitors we had that day, and I say we, but she was in hospice in a nursing home for the last couple of weeks of her life. Her care was very big, and actually I wonder now, because I learned more about hospice during that time, but we could have done that at home, maybe. But we had quite a bit of health concerns ourselves and things like that. Anyway, I didn't want to get negative at all, because it's not. Even the most difficult things, this is just like a treasure trove of memories. And one of my favorite pages to go back to is my birthday page. So I have a couple stickers on that one. But I got to see, when it was all filled out at the end, then I get to see how I spent my birthday and where I was for my birthday for those 5 years. And it's just amazing. So I was between the ages of 48 and 53. Yeah, when I did this, I turned 53 right toward the end of doing this book. So on my 49th birthday, which, you know, I'd been doing this for about a year, my entry says, my birthday, Grinders, sunny day, B&B thrift store, shirt, 2 plates, cake, gifts, quiet but nice. Well, I remember the thrift store because that's in Derby. Very close to where my grandmother used to live. So, and I know I was in Vermont because of the word grinders, and I love grinders, so I'm sure this was very early on in my dad's treatment for his pancreatic cancer. So it was kind of unique for me to be able to spend my birthday in Vermont. And those few words, it wasn't even a proper sentence. I actually don't really. Sometimes I write proper sentences, but not all the time. The next year, I can't even read. There was a difficult time, not the whole thing anyway. So in 2013, I turned 50 in Vermont, and things were more difficult at that time. We'll leave it at that. But the second half of my entry said, chance encounter with my cousin. I won't give her name because, gosh, maybe she'd like some anonymity. And nice lunch. So in other words, I went to eat in Newport and ran right into my cousin who I hadn't seen in years. and her husband, who I hadn't even met yet. So that's cool. I mean, I can picture it. It was cold, it was crisp, it was, I can breathe it, I can feel it. So I just encourage anyone who buys one of these and starts it, you will thank yourself if you continue. You really will. And it's something that you need to wind into your routine, I think. You have to attach it to something else that you do every day. It's like Atomic Habits, where we learned that you could habit stack, and then there is just no way you're going to not do it. Like, well, for me lately, I wash the dishes, the last dishes of the evening, and I just can't stand leaving dishes because, well, there's reasons too in South Texas for never leaving dishes or crumbs around. And then I come and I get my journal out. And so as I do this second one, which will, okay, so then I'm going to have like 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26. So I skipped 5 years, and now I'm going to try it again, but that's cool. Whoops, now I got to go back to where I was, December 13th. Bless your heart if you're watching this video. Okay, so then 2014, I was in Texas. I turned 51. I mean, I wrote out to the side my age as if I was going to forget, but Unity to Mull, cleaned house, package arrived. Crochet hook. Okay, that must have been what was in the package. I don't know. So I talked with my brother, my dad, my mom on the phone, and I made Special K cereal bars. Okay, so I might have tried to diversify a little bit, but I definitely, okay, Unity to Mull. Now that brings me back because it was the beautiful grounds at Bronner Parkway where my husband and I used to, mostly my husband. I helped. I liked to ride the tractor. I could do that very well, but he did all the heavy hard work, but I could just close my eyes and see how that place looked and felt, and oh my gosh. Whoops. Oh, the phone was ringing. It's so interesting as I'm reading these, trying not to read them verbatim because I'm trying to protect the privacy of the people that might have been hanging around with me. Okay, so then the following year, 2015, I was in Texas, and so we went to Unity, and it says great service. It was a Sunday. Music by Armand and Angelina. Now I do remember that. That was they're just very energetic and amazing entertainers. Manuel went too, so that was cool. I wrote that little teeny in there. Called mom. Okay, my brother called me, and I said that was nice. Okay, then the final year for this book was 2016, and I went out to eat with my sister-in-law. Obviously pre-pandemic. And I remember that little, oh, I love that place. It's still there, actually. I don't know how to pronounce it. My friend recently corrected me. I say it all wrong. But it's a place that you can get great, authentic Mexican food. And the first thing they do while they're cooking your order, they bring you a little thing of pinto beans, I say pinto beans, ranchero beans. Oh, they're so good. So spiced so nicely. And my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, my friend, we all love that place. Apparently I cooked spaghetti. I don't really cook spaghetti much anymore. Oh, and that was, okay, it says 2 to 4 at Rochelle's Art Studio. So to treat myself, I got an art lesson, and I went over to Rochelle's place, and oh, it was just amazing. I can picture what that was like, and I was learning some painting techniques and just having a great time. It was a wonderful treat. And then I went to the depression support group that evening. That was a Tuesday. So anyway, that's just one day, but 5 years worth. And it's just beyond words for me to explain what these memories are worth. And there's many other days like, well, I looked at, there was a Halloween, Halloween has its own sticker too. I went back in and kind of spiced that up. So, yeah, it's very sobering, the first entry. The 2012 entry is called Dad. He's scared it's cancer. Plans have begun. I plan to go home. Labyrinth, mow, and weed eat. Okay, so again, that was woven into the tapestry of our lives at the time, was going to Unity to keep up with the grounds there. And I was probably really glad to be able to do that day because, you know, there was this scare and Dad had been to the emergency room and yeah. And well, the day before he'd had a CT scan. I can see that. Okay. But this isn't all about all of the difficult days, and yet they all kind of form a whole in our life, and it's just amazing. I can't believe that I didn't go right out and get another one and keep doing this, but I understand why. I went directly from this to bullet journaling, and I was enthralled, and it's just amazing. But what I think now is that the bullet journal with the 5-year 1-sentence journal would be just excellent, just perfect. And so I'm definitely looking forward to doing another 5-year one. You know, and another interesting thought is that when I started this, I remember thinking, I wonder if I'll be here to finish it, you know? I mean, we don't just automatically look at life and think, you know, or at least as we get older, and probably, well, you know, my dad had cancer 14 years prior to the pancreatic cancer too. So I think I was a fairly young woman when that happened, and he was only 58. So I think we think of things differently when we've experienced these different things with our loved ones. So it's kind of like buying Christmas wrapping paper for the following year and thinking, hey, that's good. I've got hope, right? I'll probably be here next year for Christmas. Yeah, so that day before, I wrote at the top, first aware. So I must have gone back in and looked at this. So I was first aware something was going on with Dad. And so, but it's just amazing. I can take this book, I can open it to any page, and I think we'll just do that. And I can find these little gems. And it doesn't really matter to me now whether it was a serious subject or a difficulty or a gleefully fun, joyful day. It all makes the whole, and you can't have one without the other. You know, everything would be pretty flat if everything was just always one way, bad or good. That's an oversimplification. Okay, so I just opened it randomly to March 20th. Went to the library off Cimarron and got the last 3 something. Okay, I'm remembering now. VA, Vampire Academy. I must have been reading a series, and that was the only library, because I didn't know that library existed. I remember Manuel saying, and why do we have to go to the furthest away library? Since he likes to go everywhere with me and drive, usually. So, okay, Mead books. Okay, I read till I fell asleep. Okay, that's cool. But that's just really cool. And that was what I was doing at the time. And I found only a few entries in here where I failed to write. I'm serious. I mean, there's so few. I can't even find one looking for it. But it's like a time capsule. It's like a time machine. It catapults me. Some entries create a more vivid, instant, it feels like Quantum Leap. Have you seen that show where he's just one instant he's somewhere and then next he's in a different experience? That's how it feels to me sometimes when I look at these. Okay, here's another random day, October 7. Went to Unity by myself. It was pleasant. Called Mom. Made soup. Called Dad. Watched Taken. Oh, I remember that movie. Whew, that's a nail biter of a movie. And then I put research. See, it isn't enough space to delve into every little detail, but it's definitely enough to kind of tell you where you were, what you were doing, and how your life was. So I really highly recommend this kind of journaling, especially if you're wanting to get back into more journaling, but you don't trust yourself or you don't really feel like you have time. Everybody has time to jot down a sentence, or even these incoherent sentences like mine where I just used one word to list. I did that quite a bit, where I just would write as much as I could possibly fit. Oh, here's one where I highlighted the day that Dad got his dog, Duke. his dog now lives with my aunt in Vermont. So, and it's oh my gosh. Oh, that's why I highlighted this. Oh my gosh. Seriously, I highlighted it pink and wrote in at the top, Dad got Duke. And that was the day that my mother-in-law died. Oh my gosh. I did think that was really interesting that was the same day. It just happened the same day. So, wow. Oh my gosh. It's full of memories. I could see one here that involves snow. Let's see. I got distracted because I could sit here. I try not to read until I get too, overloaded with memories, because it can really, really activate you. But definitely, I super enjoyed this. Here's one, August 6th, YWCA to swim. Called Mom. Tried to watch something. Okay, this has something to do with Periscope, but I don't know what Perry Girl Book Club. I don't remember that too well. Very interesting. Okay, so now I'm starting to lose my own not interest, but so here's the thing. So I found mine for $8.49. I went online and I found it on Amazon new, and also there are a bunch listed as used. Now, I would imagine, but I'm not sure, that might mean that somebody started this and didn't finish it. And usually if people start and don't get very far. So if I couldn't afford a new one, or I couldn't find a new one, or I would take a chance on a used one, because you could use like gesso to paint over what they'd written, or you could even use either labels or just glue stick in some more paper. And knowing people as I do, and knowing myself in the past, they probably didn't get very far. And the book probably would have been tossed if it did get filled out very much. So I wouldn't be completely stopped by, I wouldn't be completely shy away from trying to get a used one, because gosh, some of them are like $4 for a used one. Now, you could get really lucky like I did. I only found one problem with this, and it wasn't a big problem. It was on the very first day. There's a smudge. They didn't ever write anything on any page at all in here. Of course, they wouldn't have made it through. It wouldn't have made it onto the shelf probably. Well, maybe it would have at Half Price Bookstore. I'm not sure where they set their bar. But I think I've pretty much done everything, except I did go back in with my TWSBI Eco. And I tested the paper, and this is Graf von Faber-Castell Stone Gray. It's a wet writing medium nib with a very wet ink, or I think it's a wet ink, and so did Vita. So she actually reviewed inks too. And I wrote here at the top of December 30th, and it did not bleed through. It attempted to seep through, but it wouldn't bother me. It didn't show through enough. And I happen to know that that's, like, Earl Grey would be drier, and I don't think it would do that. I have to think. It depends on your nib, and it depends on a lot of things. So I do not have, unfortunately, enough experience to tell you. I was not using fountain pens again when I wrote in here. I see different colors where I'd picked up gel pens. I see no bleed through. So for the most part, this looks like black. I was no doubt using G2s and some other gel pens, and even some colored ballpoint pens. I'd have to shoot you if I let you read all of these things, and we don't want that. So, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that word even. It'll probably take 6 hours for them to screen this video. Oh my goodness. Purple, looks like purple gel pen. I don't see any bleed through whatsoever. And I know I went through and highlighted some things. Here's where I did a job, and I wrote what the job was, and I wrote, never again. Note to self, never again. It was actually a cleaning job, for a commercial cleaning job. Just, it wasn't like horrible or anything. It wasn't like illegal or anything. So anyway, that's it. I really can't. I'm not trying to make this long on purpose. I was just really, really inspired by watching Alicia talk about her notebook, and And I was really hopeful for her that she'll finish it because it's a treasure trove. It's priceless. You can't put a price on memory and being able to get those little flashes that take you right back there. You know, like, I know Mother's Day doesn't always fall on the same day, but I've been meaning to look it up and go and kind of flag the Mother's Days, because I was really fortunate. There was a streak of, I think, 3 years when I got to spend Mother's Day with my mom. But since they don't line up exactly in the calendar, it's not going to be quite as easy to look at them. I'll need to find them individually. But for the most part, you get to see, or for every other day, you know, every time a holiday falls on the exact day each year. Okay, 25 minutes. Heavens to Betsy. If you want to try one of these, it'd be well worth your money and time. And I'm not sponsored by them. I paid for these with my own money. And if I do try the Midori one, that'll be probably channel money or something where I can test it out and try it for myself. And thank you for watching. I had a rough start there. I was a little bit hyper. Just a little bit, but that's my natural personality without any embellishments. So have a great day, and the next here in the next couple of days is going to get exciting, because on October 10th, 2021, we'll be doing that drawing for the sample sets of the Diamine Inkvent Red Edition. So I'll see you on the next whatever it happens to be, post, video, etc. Bye for now.